evening. It was a day of fast-paced developments today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had an informal and spontaneous interaction with Indian athletes bound for Tokyo and their families. PM's message to them was not to take stress and focus on giving their best performance. Prime Minister also interacted with chief ministers of 8 northeastern states, where he focused on strict monitoring of mutations of COVID-19, keeping track of all variants, and cautioned against crowding at hill stations without observing proper precautions. That, developments in Afghanistan and more in this edition of Newsnight. I'm Munmul Bhattacharya. First up, the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with Indian athletes contingent bound for Tokyo Olympics, motivating them ahead of the games, says wishes the entire nation are with them and the country is standing with each of them with a new thinking and a new approach. Tells them they are a reflection of New India, must not take stress and focus on giving their best performance. Indian players and their families buoyed with PM's interaction. Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Thakur says the Sports Ministry pulled out all stops to facilitate the players. 126 players from 22 states to participate in 18 sports disciplines. Tells players the nation stands with them. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with chief ministers of northeastern states on the COVID-19 situation, calls for focusing on micro-containment protocols and on testing, tracking and training to deal with the situation. PM strongly cautions against crowding at hill stations without observing proper precautions, with a focus on preventing the third wave. India continues its fight against COVID-19. It reports 31,443 new cases in the last 24 hours, lowest in 118 days. Kerala and Maharashtra report the highest number of cases. Only 55 districts of India have over 10% positivity rate. Serum Institute of India to start Sputnik V's production from September. Newly inducted and young cabinet ministers get prominent representation in reconstituted cabinet committees. Anurag Thakur, Virendra Kumar and Kiran Rijiju included in Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs. Bhupendra Yadav, Smriti Irani and Mansukh Mandavia, Sarbanand Sonowal and Giriraj Singh are part of Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs. Ashwini Vaishnav, Narayan Rane and Jyotiraditya Scindia included in the Investment and Growth Committee. Flood situation continues to be grim in Bihar. Many rivers in Spate and 10 districts. Administration engaged in relief and rescue operations at war footing. In Himachal Pradesh, respite after heavy rain even as rescue operations continue. NDRF teams deployed. Chief Minister conducts aerial survey of Boh to assess the rescue operations, and monsoon reaches Delhi. Even as fighting between the Taliban and Afghan government forces rage in many parts of Afghanistan, Afghans continue to flee their homes due to the escalating violence. The exodus within the nation and outside has forced the landlocked nation on the brink of a humanitarian crisis. And 1983 World Cup winning squad member Yashpal Sharma no more, dies of cardiac arrest. President, Prime Minister and Sports Minister condole his demise, recall his contribution to Indian cricket. Our lead story tonight, the countdown is on for the Tokyo Olympics, set to begin in 10 days. Ahead of the Games, Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the Indian athletes bound for Tokyo, and he interacted with their families as well. He underscored the first for India this time, saying for the first time such a large number of players have qualified for the Olympics from India, and there are many sports in which India has qualified for the first time. While urging the countrymen to continue to cheer for India, PM shared a winning mantra with the players: don't take stress and stay focused on giving the best performance.
जीत को अंजाम दे।
हम सब मिलकर टोक्यो जाने वाले अपने खिलाड़ियों को सपोर्ट करेंगे। चीयर फॉर इंडिया, चीयर फॉर इंडिया, चीयर फॉर इंडिया।
वहां एथलीट्स दम लगाएंगे, आप यहां से हौसला बढ़ाओ। चीयर फॉर इंडिया।
देश का झंडा लेकर जाते हैं, इसलिए ये देश का दायित्व है कि आपके साथ डटकर खड़ा रहे। आप में एक कॉमन फैक्टर दिख रहा है, डिसिप्लिन, डेडिकेशन और डिटर्मिनेशन। आप में कमिटमेंट भी है, कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस भी है। यही क्वालिटीज न्यू इंडिया की भी, इसलिए आप सब न्यू इंडिया के रिफ्लेक्शन हैं।
Indian athletes are all set to bring back laurels from the Tokyo Olympics. In a send-off to remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with 15 players who are part of the Olympic contingent via video conferencing. Sharing words of encouragement, the Prime Minister said that his government is committed to strengthening the sporting spirit and providing all possible support to the athletes and players.
जैसे खेल के मैदान में मेहनत के साथ सही स्ट्रेटेजी जुड़ जाती है तो जीत पक्की हो जाती है। यही बात ग्राउंड के बाहर भी लागू होती है। देश ने खेलो इंडिया और फिट इंडिया जैसे अभियान चलाकर मिशन मोड में सही स्ट्रेटेजी से काम किया, तो परिणाम भी आप देख रहे हैं। पहली बार इतनी बड़ी संख्या में खिलाड़ियों ने ओलंपिक के लिए क्वालिफाई किया है। कई खेल ऐसे हैं जिनमें भारत ने पहली बार क्वालिफाई किया है। साथियों, हमारे यहां कहा जाता है, अभ्यासात जायते नृणाम द्वितीया प्रकृति ही, अर्थात हम जैसा अभ्यास करते हैं, जैसा प्रयास करते हैं, धीरे धीरे वो हमारे स्वभाव का हिस्सा हो जाता है।
Elaborating on the challenges posed by COVID-19, the Prime Minister lauded the players and athletes for their dedication and hard work. He urged the nation to recognize their sacrifices and cheer for India. He described India's Olympic contingent as the face of New India and an inspiration for one and all.
आपको और देश के युवाओं का जोश देखकर ये कह सकता हूं कि वो दिन दूर नहीं जब जीतना ही न्यू इंडिया की आदत बन जाएगी। और अभी तो ये शुरुआत है। आप टोक्यो जाकर जब देश का परचम लहराएंगे तो उसी पूरी दुनिया देखेगी। हाँ, ये बात जरूर याद रखना है कि जीतने का प्रेशर लेकर नहीं खेलना है। अपने दिल दिमाग को बस एक ही बात कहिए कि मुझे अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्म करना है।
Since 2014, the goal has been to enhance the performance of players. Results of this are visible across several international arenas. For the first time, a total of 126 athletes across 18 sporting disciplines from India will be heading to the Tokyo Olympics, showcasing the true spirit of sports of New India.
आप में से कोई दक्षिण से हैं, कोई उत्तर से हैं, कोई पूरब से हैं, तो कोई पूर्वोत्तर से हैं, लेकिन अब आप सब यहां टीम इंडिया का हिस्सा है। आप सब देश के लिए खेलने जा रहे हैं। यही डायवर्सिटी, यही टीम स्पिरिट ही एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की पहचान है। साथियों, आप सब इस बात के साक्षी हैं कि देश किस तरह आज एक नई सोच, नई अप्रोच के साथ अपने हर खिलाड़ी के लिए साथ खड़ा है।
Prime Minister Modi expressed regret at not being able to meet the contingent in person because of COVID-19, assuring the athletes that he would welcome them back in person. Bureau Report, DD India.
And apart from Deepika Kumari, who is world #1 in archery, athlete Neeraj Chopra, sprinter Duti Chand, India's flag bearer at Tokyo Mary Kom and Manpreet Singh, and tennis player Sania Mirza interacted with PM Modi. Listen to some snippets of this informal, spontaneous session with sportspersons.
दीपिका जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर।
दीपिका जी, अभी पेरिस में गोल्ड जीतकर आपने जो करिश्मा किया, उसके बाद तो पूरे देश में आपकी चर्चा हो रही है। मुझे पता चला है कि आप बचपन में आम तोड़ने के लिए निशाना लगाती थी। आम से शुरू हुई आपकी यात्रा बहुत खास है। अपनी इस यात्रा के बारे में देश बहुत कुछ जानना चाहता है। अगर आप कुछ बताएं तो अच्छा होगा।
आम मुझे बहुत पसंद था, इसलिए स्टोरी पर ही, बट मैंने बैम्बू ग्रो से स्टार्ट किया था। बहुत अच्छी रही। स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा सा स्ट्रगल हुआ था बिकॉज फैसिलिटीज वहाँ अच्छी नहीं थी। उसके बाद एक साथ आर्चरी करने के बाद काफी अच्छी फैसिलिटीज मिली सर, और काफी अच्छे कोच भी मिले मुझे।
तो अपेक्षाओं और फोकस के बीच आप संतुलन कैसे बना रही हैं?
हम यहीं पे फोकस कर रहे हैं कि जितना भी ध्यान है अपने प्रैक्टिस पे हो और कैसे मुझे परफॉर्म करना है, इस चीज पे मैं सर ज्यादा फोकस कर रही हूँ।
चलिए, आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई। आपने चुनौतियों को ही ताकत बना लिया है। और मैं देख रहा हूं कि स्क्रीन पर मुझे आपके परिवारजन भी दिखाई दे रहे हैं। मैं उनको भी नमस्कार करता हूं। देश को पूरा भरोसा है कि आप ओलंपिक में भी ऐसे ही देश का गौरव बढ़ाएगी।
नमस्ते सर।
नीरज जी, आप तो भारतीय सेना में हैं और सेना के ऐसे कोने से अनुभव है। जो अनुभव, वो कौन सी ट्रेनिंग है जिसने आपको खेल में इस मुकाम तक पहुंचने में मदद की?
भारतीय सेना मुझे जितनी फैसिलिटी और जो मुझे चाहिए और जो भारत सरकार सब कुछ मुझे प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, और मैं अपना पूरा मन लगा के मेहनत कर रहा हूँ।
नीरज जी, मुझे ये भी बताया गया है कि आपको इंजरी हो गई थी, लेकिन फिर भी आप इस साल अपने राष्ट्रीय रिकॉर्ड बना दिया है। आपने अपना मनोबल, अपनी प्रैक्टिस को, ये सब कैसे संभाले रखा?
जो इंजरी है वो एक स्पोर्ट्स का पार्ट है। तो जो मैंने 2019 में काफी मेहनत की थी, उस साल वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप।
आपको स्पोर्ट्स की इंजरी में भी स्पोर्ट्स पर स्पिरिट दिखता है
सर, क्योंकि हमारा यही सफर है। कुछ साल का हमारा करियर होता है और हमको अपने आप को मोटिवेट करना होता है।
आपको अपेक्षाओं के बोझ तले दबने की जरूरत नहीं है। बिना किसी दबाव के पूरा प्रयास कीजिए। मेरी आपको बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। द्युति जी, आपके तो नाम का ही अर्थ है चमक। द्युति का मतलब ही होता है आभार, और आप खेल के जरिए अपनी चमक बिखेर भी रही है। अब आप ओलंपिक में छा जाने के लिए तैयार हैं। इतनी बड़ी प्रतियोगिता तो आप कैसे देखती हैं?
जब मेरे घर में लड़की से लड़की पैदा होते जाते थे, गांव वाले ने मेरी मम्मी को हमेशा क्रिटिसाइज करते थे कि इतना लड़की क्यों पैदा कर रहे हैं। तो बहुत गरीब फैमिली थे, खाने के लिए भी डाइट नहीं था, और मेरे पापा का इनकम भी बहुत कम ही था। मन में यही
माताजी पिताजी मेरे सामने हैं
जी। तो मेरा मन में वही था कि मैं अच्छा खेलूंगी तो देश के लिए नाम रोशन करूंगी।
द्युति जी, आपने देश के लिए बहुत से रिकॉर्ड बनाए हैं। देश को उम्मीद है कि आप इस बार ओलंपिक पोडियम पर जरूर अपनी जगह बनाएंगे। आप निर्भीक होकर खेलों में भाग लीजिए। पूरा भारत अपने ओलंपिक खिलाड़ियों के साथ है। मैरी कॉम जी, नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर।
आप तो ऐसी खिलाड़ी है जिनसे पूरा देश प्रेरणा लेता है। अच्छा, वैसे तो आप हर पंच में चैंपियन है, लेकिन आपका सबसे फेवरेट पंच कौन सा है?
सर, मेरा फेवरेट पंचेस तो ये मेरा स्ट्रांग साउथ पोल है, तो मेरा सबसे फेवरेट है सर। तो इसमें कोई भी लोग को मिस नहीं कर पाते हैं। लगना ही तो लगना ही है बस।
मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि आपका फेवरेट खिलाड़ी कौन है?
मोहम्मद अली है सर। उससे मेरे को इंस्पायर होके बॉक्सिंग चुना हूँ सर।
मेरी कॉम जी, आपने बॉक्सिंग की करीब करीब हर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय प्रतियोगिता जीत ली है। आपने कहीं कहा था कि ओलंपिक गोल्ड आपका सपना है। ये आपका ही नहीं, पूरे देश का सपना है। देश को उम्मीद है कि आप अपना और देश का सपना जरूर पूरा करेगी। मनप्रीत जी नमस्ते।
नमस्कार सर।
ओलंपिक में हॉकी में हमारे देश का बहुत शानदार इतिहास रहा है। ऐसे में स्वाभाविक है थोड़ी ज्यादा जिम्मेदारी का बहुत स्वाभाविक एक वातावरण बन जाता है और हर कोई चाहता है कि रिकॉर्ड बना करके रखना है। और इसकी वजह से खेल के दौरान आप लोगों को कोई एक्स्ट्रा तनाव का माहौल तो नहीं होता है ना?
नहीं सर, बिल्कुल नहीं, क्योंकि अगर देखा जाए तो हॉकी ने अभी तक जो 8 गोल्ड मेडल जीते हैं, सबसे ज्यादा मेडल जीते, तो हम लोग इसको प्राउड फील करते हैं कि हम लोग उसी स्पोर्ट को खेल रहे हैं। और जब भी हम लोग ओलंपिक्स में जाते हैं तो यही कोशिश करते हैं कि हाँ कि अपना पूरा बेस्ट है और इंडिया की मेडल जीते।
मनप्रीत, आपसे बात करते हुए मुझे मेजर ध्यानचंद, केडी बाबू, मोहम्मद शाहिद जैसे महान हॉकी खिलाड़ियों की याद आ रही है। आप हॉकी के महान इतिहास को और उज्जवल करेंगे, ऐसा मेरा और पूरे देश का विश्वास है। सानिया जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर।
सानिया जी, आपने कई ग्रैंड स्लैम्स जीते हैं, बड़े बड़े खिलाड़ियों के साथ आपने खेला है। आपको क्या लगता है कि टेनिस का चैंपियन बनने के लिए क्या खूबियां होनी चाहिए? क्योंकि आजकल मैंने देखा है कि टियर 2, टियर 3 सिटी में भी आप लोग उनके हीरो हैं और वो टेनिस सीखना चाहते हैं।
मेहनत के और टैलेंट के बगैर कोई भी चीज में कुछ नहीं होता, चाहे वो टेनिस हो या कोई भी स्पोर्ट हो। और अब फैसिलिटीज भी बहुत अच्छे हो गए हैं 25 साल पहले से अब तक। तो अभी तो बहुत सारे अच्छे स्टेडियम्स बन गए हैं, हार्ड कोर्ट्स हैं। तो मैं उम्मीद यही है कि और बहुत सारे टेनिस प्लेयर निकले इंडिया से इंशाल्लाह।
सानिया, आप चैंपियन भी हैं, फाइटर भी हैं। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप इस ओलंपिक में ज्यादा बेहतरीन और सफल खिलाड़ी बनकर उभरेगी। मेरी आपको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं।
Not only did Prime Minister interact with sports persons, he also held a freewheeling session with some of their families. Listen in.
प्रवीण जी, मुझे बताया गया कि आपकी ट्रेनिंग पहले एथलीट बनने के लिए हुई थी, तीरंदाजी के लिए देश को रिप्रेजेंट करने जा रहे हैं। ये बदलाव कैसे हुआ?
सर, पहले मैं एथलेटिक्स करता था, तो मेरा सिलेक्शन गवर्नमेंट के एकेडमी में एथलेटिक्स के लिए हुआ। तो वहाँ के कोच थे, तो मेरा बॉडी थोड़ा कमजोर था उस टाइम, तो वो बोले कि आप दूसरे गेम में अच्छा कर सकते हो।
अच्छा, और इस बदलाव के बावजूद भी आप अपने खेल में कॉन्फिडेंस और परफेक्शन कैसे लाए?
थोड़ा फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन ठीक नहीं है। मुझे पता था घर जाके मुझे भी मजदूरी करनी पड़ेगी, इससे अच्छा तो यहाँ मेहनत करके आगे कुछ अच्छा करना है।
यानी जिस प्रकार से पिताजी दिहाड़ी मजदूरी से लेकर आज देश का प्रतिनिधित्व करने तक की यात्रा बहुत प्रेरणादायी है। आपने दिखा दिया कि मेहनत और ईमानदारी की ताकत क्या होती है।
प्रवीणला अजून पुढे जावं, खेळून प्रवीणच्या पाठीमागे 4 मुली आहेत, ते सुद्धा त्यांनी जाऊन पुढे प्रवीण सारखं ऑलिम्पिक घेऊन यावं।
वाह आप टोक्यो ओलंपिक से पहले ओलंपिक साइज कोर्ट में प्रैक्टिस करना चाहती थी। अब गोची बावली में आपकी प्रैक्टिस कैसी चल रही है?
गच्चीबावली में प्रैक्टिस बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है सर। मैं ये चूज किया क्योंकि अभी ओलंपिक स्टेडियम बहुत बड़ा है।
आपके परिवारजन भी मेरे सामने हैं, मैं उनको प्रणाम करता हूं। उन्होंने रियो ओलंपिक के पहले आपका फोन ले लिया था, आपको आइसक्रीम भी खाना अलाउ नहीं किया था। क्या अभी भी आपके आइसक्रीम खाने पर पाबंदी लगी हुई है या कुछ छूट मिली है? देखिए सिंधु जी, माता पिता दोनों खुद स्पोर्ट्स में रहे हैं और इसलिए मेरा मन करता है आज मैं उनसे भी एक बात जरूर करूंगा। आपको नमस्कार।
अपने बच्चे हेल्थ वाइज अच्छे होंगे तो सब कुछ बड़ा होगा, क्योंकि आप थोड़ा खेलेंगे तो आपका हेल्थ अच्छा होगा, ऑटोमेटिकली आपका कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ेगा. वी हैव टू मोटिवेट देम. एंड आप तो जानते हैं गवर्नमेंट तो हर तरह से हर खिलाड़ी को सब फैसिलिटी दे रहे हैं.
सिंधु जी, आपके माता पिता ने आपको विश्व चैंपियन बनाने के लिए बहुत त्याग किए हैं. उन्होंने अपना काम कर दिया है. अब आपकी बारी है. विनेश नमस्ते.
सर नमस्ते.
आप फोगाट फैमिली से हैं. आपके पूरे परिवार ने खेलों के लिए इतना कुछ देश को दिया है. इस पहचान की वजह से थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा प्रेशर, थोड़ी ज्यादा जिम्मेदारी तो नहीं आ जाती है?
सर जिम्मेदारी तो बिल्कुल आती है, क्योंकि फैमिली ने जो काम स्टार्ट किया है वो खत्म करना है. और वो जो सपना ओलंपिक्स का लेके स्टार्ट किया था वो जब मेडल आएगा उसके बाद ही शायद खत्म होगा.
देखिए, पिछली बार आपको रियो ओलंपिक में चोट की वजह से हटना पड़ा था. पिछले साल भी आप बीमार थी. आपने इन सारी बाधाओं को पार कर शानदार प्रदर्शन किया. इतने स्ट्रेस को सक्सेस में बदलना ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है. ये कैसे किया आपने?
सर डिफिकल्ट होता है काफी, बट वही है कि एज ए एथलीट, हम एथलीट टॉप लेवल पे अगर हमें परफॉर्म करना है तो हमें मेंटली स्ट्रांग रहना पड़ता है.
आपके माता पिताजी भी जुड़े हैं. आपके पिताजी तो आपके गुरु भी हैं एक प्रकार से. फोगाट फैमिली अपनी बेटियों को कौन सी चक्की का आटा खिलाती है?
देखिए, जो चक्की का आटे की है, हम जो अपने गांव के घर की चक्की का आटे खाते हैं और अपने देसी के उसका, और गाय भैंस रखते हैं, गाय भैंस का दूध, दही, मक्खन यही खिलाया, हरी सब्जी. और आज भी मैं लगा हूँ इस चीज पर. आज मुझे विश्वास है, पिछली बार तो मेरी बेटी रह गई थी, लेकिन अब की बार ओलंपिक में मेरे पर पूरा विश्वास भरोसा है. अब की बार भी गोल्ड मेडल लेकर आएगा. मेरे सपना पूरा करेगा.
देखिए विनेश जी, आपके पेरेंट्स की बातों से मुझे भरोसा हो गया है कि विनेश आप जरूर जीतेगी.
Ilavanil Valarivan trained in Gujarat as well, and Ilavanil will compete in the 10 meters air rifle category. She is the world #1 in her event currently and will also be part of the mixed team. She is one of India's best bets in this category. Quoting Doordarshan's story based on her journey, Prime Minister lauded her efforts and wished her for the upcoming Olympics.
A shooter who's catching the world's attention.
Every athlete wants to own a tricolored jacket. The biggest gift any athlete can get is to get to represent their country.
A story on Doordarshan that caught the Prime Minister's attention.
अभी मैं दूरदर्शन पे एक कार्यक्रम देख रहा था. उसमें मैं आपके माताजी पिताजी को सुन रहा था और वो संस्कार धाम में आपने इसका प्रारंभ किया था, इसका पूरा वर्णन कर रही थी और वहां का बड़ा गर्व से वहीं जाकर के वो आपको याद कर रही थी. अच्छा, स्कूल से ओलंपिक तक बहुत सारे युवा आपकी इस जर्नी के बारे में जानना चाहेंगे.
She might be just 21, but Ilavanil Valarivan is already the top-ranked women's 10-meter air rifle shooter in the world. Ilavanil began her shooting journey from the Samskar Dham shooting range. Her life changed completely when she joined the Gagan Narang Academy. Interacting with the Prime Minister, Ilavanil said she had dabbled in many fields as a youngster.
मैंने एक्चुअली काफ़ी सारे स्पोर्ट्स ट्राई किए थे शूटिंग के पहले. मुझे बचपन से ही स्पोर्ट्स बहुत ही पसंद था. एथलेटिक्स, बैडमिंटन, जूडो वगैरह ट्राई किया था. लेकिन जब मैंने शूटिंग शुरू किया तब मुझे एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा एक्साइटमेंट मिला था इस गेम में, क्योंकि हमको बहुत ज़्यादा स्टेडी रहना होता है, बहुत ज़्यादा कामनेस चाहिए होता है.
Ilavanil is truly an inspiration for New India and represent a new generation of women athletes who are fearless. In Tokyo, she will be carrying the hopes of a billion population. With Tapush Bhattacharya, Bureau Report, DD India.
Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur also participated in the interaction. He hailed PM Modi's leadership and his passion for encouraging the sporting fraternity. Anurag Thakur credited the Prime Minister for the spirit of cheer for India that has engulfed the nation.
कोरोना महामारी जैसी विषम परिस्थितियों के दौरान भी आपने खिलाड़ियों का मनोबल नहीं गिरने दिया और समय समय पर आपने खिलाड़ियों से वार्तालाप करके उनका मार्गदर्शन भी किया है और उन्हें जोश से सरोबार भी किया है। जैसा कि हम सब जानते हैं, हाल ही में आपने समस्त देशवासियों से टोक्यो ओलंपिक्स जाने वाले खिलाड़ियों का मनोबल बढ़ाने के लिए चीयर फॉर इंडिया का आह्वान भी किया था और मैं आपके ध्यान में लाना चाहता हूं, देश भर के कोने कोने, लेह लद्दाख से लेकर कन्याकुमारी तक, गुजरात से लेकर अरुणाचल तक लोग सेल्फीज भी खींच रहे हैं, डाल भी रहे हैं, खिलाड़ियों का मनोबल भी बढ़ा रहे हैं। और आज जब आप इस कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से शुरुआत करेंगे, कल से पूरे देश के लोग हमारे ओलंपिक खिलाड़ियों को अपना आशीर्वाद, योगदान, सहयोग देने के लिए और चीयर करने के लिए एकजुट हो जाएंगे।
And that brings us to our In Focus tonight. Hashtag Cheer for India. PM motivates Indian contingent for Tokyo Olympics. To talk about that and India's preparations for the Tokyo Olympics, we have with us a distinguished panel of guests. I'm pleased to introduce Gagan Narang, former Olympian and athlete, and Ashwini Nachappa, former athlete and Olympian. Welcome you both to Newsnight. I'll come to you, Ashwini. Your thoughts on Prime Minister's decision to interact with the Tokyo-bound Indian players ahead of the big games. What does this mean for the morale of the players?
Never in the history of Indian sport have we seen a Prime Minister take such keen interest in the Indian contingent, and to have such conversation with every athlete on the panel today was very heartwarming. You know, it gave a sense of pride for not just the athlete but for their parents too, because he had an interaction with them, and also brought to light to the entire nation through his communication, through his best wishes to the athletes, that what it means to become an Olympian and the road that each of them have taken. He really, I think it was a great source of encouragement. It raises hope of 1 billion people, but it also gives a kind of a, you know, an atmosphere that has been created from this moment on, that the Olympic Games will be happening in a few days, and the entire nation is kind of, you know, with this positive energy around them, will start looking for every athlete, 126 athletes, looking at their portfolios, looking at the ones that they are, you know, who their favorites are. I think this buzz of the Olympic Games is has started today in a big way, and I don't think anywhere in the world something like this is ever seen. What happened today when the Prime Minister spoke to the entire contingent, at least some of the key members of the contingent.
Right, Gagan, does the country now know more about the struggles that these players in the initial phases and their families had undergone before they really reached here and became so successful?
Every athlete to reach the Olympic journey takes different, course, but everybody has that great sense of appreciation for what one achieves in merely qualifying for such a mega event. And I think that came to light, and this is by far the largest contingent that the Indian team will have at the Olympic Games. I'm very, very happy that athletics and shooting has one of the largest contingents ever. The other highlight is also to showcase the number of women and the young children that have qualified between the age groups of 20, in their early 20s, that have qualified in events and in disciplines that we would never have imagined. Sailing, equestrian, or wrestling. We have so many of the women who have qualified in that. So it's great to see a large contingent, and I'm really hopeful for some great performances coming by.
Absolutely. Gagan Narang, world #1 player in a 10-meter air rifle event. Ilavanil is training in your academy, the Gagan Narang Academy. Tell us about her journey. She was one of them that the Prime Minister interacted with, and we ran a story on her and her family, which the Prime Minister saw and appreciated, and told Ilavanil about the kind of struggles that she's been through and the way in which the academy in Gujarat, where she had earlier trained, had gone out of the way to accommodate her. So tell us about her journey.
Well, Mundan, she was spotted in a unique talent identification program at that point of time that we had undertaken with Sport Authority of Gujarat. And Sanskar Dham was one of the first centers that implemented this talent identification. So right from that time till going to the Olympics, the journey has not been very easy. Answering your earlier question, we only see about 5%, which is the tip of the iceberg. But we don't usually see what's under it, because there's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifices, and believe me, it's not easy in India to reach at the highest level. Things are improving now with the Khelo India coming in, with the tops coming in, with the Fit India movement coming in. There is a lot of excitement about sports. Earlier, parents and kids would refrain from getting into sport, but now parents and everybody around is rallying around the kid and saying that, go out there and perform. So this was a unique talent identification process. We groomed her in a way that she is rigged and wired to perform at a certain time. And we planned the journey in a particular way so that, she becomes the best in juniors. She has a good transition period from a junior to a senior athlete, and from a senior athlete to a world champion. So we kind of had the steps in order with the help of the government, the support from the Sanskar Dham school, the tops, and private players like Olympic Gold Quest. We are able to bring her to this particular level. And not just about Ella Vinyl. I think all 15 are capable of winning a medal at the Olympics. They are all charged. They have no excess baggage from behind. They are not going there to participate. They are not going there to go reach the final. They are going there to win. And win not a bronze or a silver, but they just want the gold, I feel.
Absolutely. Gagan Narang, also what sort of role have schemes like the top scheme, where there was a further division made into junior and senior categories, Khelo India campaign, Fit India campaign played in India's preparations? Because like Ashwini said earlier, there are several firsts for India this time around in the Olympics. How has all that been possible through these schemes?
Yes. So there are many firsts in this Olympic. Of course, first being the COVID situation, which you've never imagined that we would be playing the Olympic Games. And we're not just going there to perform, but we also have the additional task of keeping ourselves safe. Secondly, look at the country rallying behind their Olympic athletes. Never has it happened that the whole nation, right from the Prime Minister to the last guy on the field, who's even, the other day I was on the shooting range, and who's even sweeping the floor on the shooting range is saying, sir, this time the Indian team is going to do really well. Never before has this enthusiasm come into place where the whole country is rallying behind, the federations are rallying behind the athletes. The athlete is in the center of the whole ecosystem. And I think with the tops coming in, giving them the right kind of support at the right time, with the Khelo India coming in, where you have unheard people who are just participating and climbing the podium at that young age, getting the kind of funding that is required before they become a champion. The whole country is absolutely come together for this Olympics, and it's been unprecedented. The coordination between Sport Authority and the federations to the athletes has been unprecedented, and I hope that the results also will be unprecedented.
Absolutely. Ashwini, what role has foreign exposure played this time around? We are aware about the fencer that India is sending this time to Tokyo Olympics, C.A. Bhavani. How has foreign exposure galvanized her and prepared her for the big marquee event?
I'm sure that most of the athletes or most of the team players have not got the kind of exposure that they would have liked to, given the circumstances and the scenario that is prevalent all over the world. But nevertheless, most of them have had competitions and training abroad. I think it's very, very important that every athlete who is representing the country at the highest sporting event, as a run-up to the games, has as many exposures at different levels, each one higher, so that they better their performances. That kind of experience and exposure always allows an athlete to perform better, but it also allows an athlete to gain that kind of confidence and the belief that they are able to stand up at the world stage fearless and go for the medal. So I think the mindset has changed. Indian sport has evolved in a way which is in the right direction. So, it's absolutely necessary and important that it's not just the mere exposure, but the entire support system and the ecosystem that has been created for athletes to perform.
So has a lot of forward planning and ecosystem then helped in us reaching here? Because I understand that Saurabh Chaudhary and Manu Bhakar have been the products of Khelo India. They were discovered by Khelo India, wherein there is a search that takes place to look for players at the grassroots level. So Gagan, your thoughts on the way in which things have panned out, how there was a lot of forward planning and a lot of focus on ensuring the right ecosystem is in place.
Absolutely. I think this is the result of a lot of pre-planning. Of course, the high-level committee was formed under the able leadership of the sports minister. Of course, key decisions have been taken under the high-level committee, of which I'm a part of. And we've thought things out, the scenarios that are going to be played. We have seen that the athlete is the epicenter of everything that's going around him. The athlete is right in the middle, where everything revolves around the athlete. And TOPS, of course, has a great team in place. It's a very young team in place who've been doing their researches, who've been seeing what are the world level scores that people are shooting or people are performing compared to what we are doing. What is the cutoff score for going to the final? Who is shooting that score? What is his current form? The shooting team was lucky that they were sent on a private jet to Croatia in Zagreb for training before the Olympics, which also shortens their quarantine time in Tokyo. So from that perspective, it was a lot of, when there was peak pandemic, we pushed the shooting team out to another country so that they could train safely. Their training scores are being monitored. So there's a lot of planning that has been done. If you see Mirabai Chanu, if you see the boxers, they have been sent to Italy. Mirabai Chanu has been sent to the United States. So a lot of these athletes have been sent to various places so that they can train in the best facilities available before they go into Tokyo for their unhampered training and performance.
Right. Ashwini, the Prime Minister told the players that they shouldn't think about winning medals. They should think about giving their best performance. Is this the best mantra for any athlete?
Every athlete would love to, perform better than what they have done. Break records. I think the performance of every athlete or the team really reflects on what has gone into the training and bringing out such performances in the country. So it is very, very essential that athletes are focused. I think they are already in the zone because it's just a few days away for them to be there. There are going to be kind of a little bit of adjustment issues with the kind of health scenario and the caution that each, Japan is going to be taking, how India will be treated. Things are going to be changing, but how you adapt to it. You go with an open mind, you go with a mind of just performing. Under no circumstances would you get bogged down by these negative things that will be prevalent if it so happens. And I think Prime Minister nailed it, just conveyed the message very clearly. You're there to perform. Don't focus on anything else. Just be there with the targets that you have set for yourself, and the rest will follow. So you don't have to worry about the rest of the things because the entire support system is there to take care of the rest that is required at the village.
Right, Gagan, last word from you before we wind this up. Is mental strength key? You won a medal in the London Olympics for India. You know how it all works. So is mental strength extremely important?
Well, I think any sport beyond a certain limit of physicality goes mental. And I feel that a lot of sport, I would say 98% is mental, especially in shooting. We say 98% mental and 2% physical. So, of course, in all sport, a champion always hangs in there 1 second longer than when everyone else quits. And I think that comes when you like the sport from inside. You have the passion, you have the fire burning, and you have the focus and the determination to give your best at the right time. So definitely mental focus is very, very important.
Absolutely. Very inspiring and encouraging words, as well as a lot of insight from Gagan Narang as well as Ashwini Nachappa for the players going in with the Tokyo Olympics. Thank you so much for having joined us.
Thank you, Manu. Thank you so much.
Let's move on now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with chief ministers of 8 northeastern states, where he focused on strict monitoring of mutations of COVID-19, keeping track of all variants, and cautioned against crowding at hill stations without observing proper precautions, with an emphasis on preventing the third wave of the pandemic. Referring to the 23,000 crore rupees package approved by the Union Cabinet recently for improving testing and treatment infrastructure, the Prime Minister said that the package will help in strengthening health infrastructure of the Northeast.
हमें और सतर्क रहने की जरूरत है और लोगों को भी लगातार सतर्क करते रहना पड़ेगा। हम सबके सामूहिक प्रयासों से, देश की जनता के सहयोग से हम कोरोना संक्रमण को सीमित रखने में जरूर सफल होंगे। वायरस का प्रहार वो 2 गज की दूरी, मास्क और वैक्सीनेशन के कवच के सामने कमजोर पड़ जाएगा।
The pace of COVID-19 infections has decreased rapidly in most parts of the country, but the situation in Maharashtra, Kerala and many states of the Northeast still remains worrying. Keeping this in mind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with chief ministers of 8 northeastern states on COVID-19 situation. The interaction was attended by the chief ministers of Nagaland, Tripura, Sikkim, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Assam. Prime Minister lauded the people, health workers and the government of the Northeast for their hard work in the fight against the pandemic and creating infrastructure for testing, treatment and vaccination despite the difficult terrain of the states. He re-emphasized the use of micro-containment protocol in dealing with the situation.
संक्रमण को फैलने से रोकने के लिए हमें माइक्रो लेवल पर और सख्त कदम उठाने होंगे। जितना जोर माइक्रो कंटेनमेंट जोन पर हम लगाएंगे, हम इस परिस्थिति से जल्दी बाहर आएंगे।
The Prime Minister expressed his worry over the growing number of cases in some districts and stressed the need to catch these signals and take strict actions at the micro level. Acknowledging the impact of the pandemic on tourism and business, the Prime Minister strongly cautioned against crowding at hill stations without observing proper precautions.
हिल स्टेशन में, मार्केट्स में बिना मास्क पहने, बिना प्रोटोकॉल का अमल किए बिना भारी भीड़ का उमड़ना, मैं समझता हूं एक चिंता का विषय है, ये ठीक नहीं है। कई बार हम ये तर्क सुनते हैं और कुछ लोग तो बड़ा सीना तान करके बोलते हैं, अरे भाई तीसरी लहर आने से पहले हम एंजॉय करना चाहते हैं। ये बात लोगों को समझाना जरूरी है कि तीसरी लहर अपने आप नहीं आएगी।
Noting the fast mutating nature of the virus, the Prime Minister advised strict monitoring of the situation to keep track of all variants. Referring to the recent cabinet approval of 23,000 crore rupees package for improving the infrastructure for testing and treatment, the Prime Minister said that the package will help in strengthening the health infrastructure of the Northeast.
हाल ही में कैबिनेट ने एक नया पैकेज भी स्वीकृत किया है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट के हर राज्य को इस पैकेज से अपने हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को मजबूत करने में बहुत मदद मिलेगी। इस पैकेज से नॉर्थ ईस्ट में टेस्टिंग, डायग्नोस्टिक, जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग, इसको बहुत बढ़ावा मिलेगा।
The Prime Minister said that in the Vaccine for All, Free for All campaign of the central government, the Northeast too has the same importance, and we need to keep accelerating the vaccination process. He urged chief ministers to accelerate the vaccination drive in the areas where the spread of the virus is expected, and to do all they can to bust myths surrounding vaccinations. The Prime Minister underlined the need to establish temporary hospitals due to the geographical situation of the Northeast. He also asked to prepare trained manpower as oxygen plants, ICU wards, new machines that are reaching 2 block-level hospitals will need this manpower. He assured all help from the central government. Noting the capacity of 20 lakh tests per day in the country, the Prime Minister highlighted the need to augment the testing infrastructure in the affected districts on a priority. He stressed aggressive testing along with random testing and expressed the hope that with the collective efforts, India will surely be able to contain the spread. Bureau Report, DD India.
Even as the U.S. general leading the war in Afghanistan, Austin Miller, has relinquished command and left Afghanistan, the fighting between the Taliban and the government forces has been raging in many parts of the country. More Afghans are likely to flee their homes due to escalating violence. The exodus within the nation and outside has forced the landlocked nation on the brink of a humanitarian crisis. While efforts to initiate talks are on, the government forces continue to stage a spirited fight back and inflict heavy casualties on the Taliban.
The real impact of the Afghan war as it engulfs more and more areas is clearly evident in these visuals. In many areas around the nation, the main sufferers are the Afghan people, families, women and children. UN High Commissioner for Refugees has said that an estimated 270,000 Afghans had been newly displaced inside the country since January, bringing the total population forced from their homes to more than 3.5 million. This video footage of Afghan forces on the battlefield on the outskirts of Kunduz city is one of many as Taliban is making a desperate attempt to wrest control the nation. But they are facing strong resistance from Afghan forces and armed civilians in and around the capital of Kunduz and in many other areas of Afghanistan. Recent territorial gains by Taliban came as foreign troops led by the US military withdrew from Afghanistan after 20 years of war, effectively leaving the task of pulling the country from a spiraling security crisis to the local forces. At least 7 Taliban insurgents were killed in an airstrike by Afghan forces on Tuesday in northern Takhar province. Meanwhile, former Afghan President Hamid Karzai has said that serious peace talks will begin soon in the country and urged the government. The US general leading the war in Afghanistan, Austin Miller, relinquished command at a ceremony on Monday and quietly left the country, a symbolic end to America's longest conflict while Taliban insurgents continue to gain momentum. The US exit from Afghanistan is a headache for Moscow too, which fears that spiraling fighting may push refugees into Central Asia. India has made clear more than once its apprehensions and has been a strong votary of peace and democracy in a stable Afghanistan. For now, as the anxious nations watch the war unfold in this landlocked nation, humanitarian efforts and aid pips every other concern as the number of displaced keeps growing. Bureau Report, DD India.
And now to focus on the situation of Afghanistan, we are joined by Ambassador Vivek Karju, former Indian ambassador to Afghanistan. Our In Focus is current crisis in Afghanistan, implications for the region. Welcome, Ambassador Karju, to Newsnight. The US has said its withdrawal is 90% complete. On the other hand, we are looking at Taliban claiming that it's gaining territory day by day. What is your assessment of the situation there, and what are the options before the regional powers who would want some semblance of stability to be maintained?
Gained a substantial military momentum. They've made advances in the north, the northeast, and in the western part of the country. They've also made some gains in the central area. This is a significant thing, but the question is still open whether all this means that they, before they re-enter the talks with the Taliban, with the Afghan leaders, and your bureau report quoted former President Karzai saying that talks will begin soon. So either it is that they wanted to gain a position of strength for those talks, or it could be that they've given up the idea of some kind of an interim government in which they, their representatives, and the Afghan elites which is Kabul-based, their representatives would join. If they've abandoned the idea, then we are looking at a very difficult situation, a situation of civil conflict. But if they wanted to gain a position of strength, then we can hope for some kind of talks. Whether those talks succeed is another question. I think they'll be very difficult because I have no doubt that the Taliban would want a dominant position in any interim administration if it were to be formed, and certainly they would like to control the security sectors of any government.
In such a situation, how can India secure its interests? Because India has a lot of stake in a peaceful and stable Afghanistan. We've invested billions of dollars in aid and reconstruction activities there.
Well, I think as a first step, India must recognize the ground realities which are prevailing. And the ground realities clearly make it evident that the Taliban are gaining. Second, India must recognize that the Taliban have acquired substantial international legitimacy. Other countries are not happy with many of the Taliban's approaches and policies, and certainly don't want the re-establishment of the kind of governance structures which were seen in the mid-90s from 1996 to 2001 in the Islamic Emirate. No one wants that. But all countries have interests and they are recognizing the reality of the Taliban. In fact, they've done that for many years. So India too must shed any inhibition which it may have to talk to the Taliban. At the same time, it must maintain its contacts with the Afghan authorities in Kabul. That is what the international community and the regional countries are doing. That is the path that India, to my mind, must adopt.
Do you expect the SCO to discuss the current crisis in Afghanistan this week?
Yes, I think there is a session devoted to this. There is a meeting on this. And I have no doubt that the SCO too will come up with an appeal for peace, that dialogue should be resumed, that there should be a government which is dedicated to democratic principles, that there is women's rights on gender issues. They will say very strong things on minority rights. They will also say the right thing. Of that, I have no doubt. The question is that if the Taliban don't listen to all this, then who would have such statements as the SCO I expect will issue, who will ensure its implementation?
Yes.
There, I think, the reality demands that we accept that individual countries in the region, while making the right noises, will seek their own interests. And in such a situation, the demands of diplomacy and of our national interest is an acceptance of reality. We might not like that reality. That is another issue. But an acceptance of reality is what is required.
Yes. In fact, it is also the Afghan people who are facing the maximum brunt of what is really happening in Afghanistan, with the lakhs of people having been displaced. The UN says that since January itself, 2,70,000 Afghans have been displaced. So there is a lot of chaos within Afghanistan at this point in time, and this crisis is facing the region and the world. Well, thank you, Ambassador Kajju, for having joined us.
Thank you.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Varanasi on the 15th of July, and he will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects during the visit. At around 11 a.m, Prime Minister will inaugurate various public projects and works, including a 100-bed MCH wing in BHU, a multi-level parking at Godaulia, Ro-Ro vessels for tourism development on River Ganga, and 3-lane flyover bridge on the Varanasi-Ghazipur highway. Projects worth around 744 crore rupees will be inaugurated. He will also lay the foundation stones of several projects and public works worth around 839 crore rupees. These include the Centre for Skill and Technical Support of Central Institute of Petrochemical Engineering and Technology, or CPET, 143 rural projects under Jal Jeevan Mission, and mango and vegetable integrated pack house in Karkiang. Prime Minister will also inaugurate the International Cooperation and Convention Centre, Rudraksh, which has been constructed with Japanese assistance. Thereafter, he will inspect the maternal and child health wing in BHU. Following the expansion of the cabinet on the 7th of July, the government has reconstituted the cabinet committees. Anurag Singh Thakur, Dr. Virendra Kumar, Kiran Rijiju have been included in Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, while Smriti Irani, Mansukh Mandavia, Sarbanand Sonowal, Bhupendra Yadav, Giriraj Singh have been included in Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs. Cabinet Committee on Investment and Growth includes the names of Ashwini Vaishnav, Narayan Rane and Jyotiraditya Scindia. Besides, Cabinet Committee on Employment and Skill Development include names of Ashwini Vaishnav and Bhupendra Yadav, while RCP Singh and G. Kishan Reddy have been included as special invitees. That's it then in this edition of Newsnight. Do remember to follow COVID appropriate behavior and protocol, and also get vaccinated if you haven't got your jab as yet. Thanks for watching.